alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Myself Hilal Ahmed, tutor at Qaziabad Institute of Excellence, Scrollboard. चूंकि हम सब जानते हैं कि नेटवर्क बहुत वीक है, तो 2G या 3G से हम लेंथी वीडियोस को अपलोड नहीं कर सकते। वीडियो को शॉर्ट करने के लिए मैंने थ्योरेटिकल पार्ट पहले ही बोर्ड पे लिख दिया है। So let's begin with the first lecture, Newton's laws of motion. In order to understand Newton's first law of motion, we should know force and inertia. Force. Anything or something which actually changes or tries to change the state of rest or state of motion or direction of motion of a body. For example, the initial state of marker is that the marker is at rest. Something applied on marker which actually changes the state of marker from rest to motion is force. Or something applied on wall which tries to change the state of wall from rest to motion is again force. Similarly, something applied by catcher while catching a ball to change the state of ball from motion to rest is again force. However, if the catcher gets injured and fails to catch the ball, then we can say something applied by catcher which tries to change the state of ball from motion to rest is again force. Similarly, something applied by a driver or rider to change the direction of motion of a moving vehicle is again force. So we can say force is anything or something which actually changes or tries to change the state of rest or state of motion or direction of motion of a body. So it's clear that the purpose of force is to change the state of body from rest to motion or from motion to rest or to change the direction of motion of a body. Now let's come to inertia. क्या कोई बॉडी अपनी स्टेट या अपनी डायरेक्शन ऑफ मोशन खुद चेंज कर सकती है? यानी एक बॉडी रेस्ट में है, क्या वो खुद मोशन में आ सकती है? या एक बॉडी मोशन में है, क्या वो खुद रेस्ट पे आ सकती है? नहीं। छोटा सा ही सही, लेकिन एक सवाल आपके जहन में जरूर इस टाइप कि हमने एक बॉडी को रोल किया ऑन द ग्राउंड और एक बॉल को रोल किया ग्राउंड पे, आफ्टर सम टाइम द बॉल कम्स टू रेस्ट। वो बॉल वहां पे खुद रेस्ट पे नहीं आई, बल्कि वहां पे एक इनविजिबल फोर्स है जिसको हम फ्रिक्शन कहते हैं, वो फ्रिक्शन की वजह से रेस्ट पे आई। अदरवाइज कोई भी बॉडी अपनी स्टेट या अपनी डायरेक्शन ऑफ मोशन को खुद चेंज नहीं कर सकती है। एंड ये जो प्रॉपर्टी है, ये बॉडी की अपनी प्रॉपर्टी होती है। इसी प्रॉपर्टी का हमने नाम दिया इनर्शिया। So we can define inertia is the inherent or intrinsic property of a body by virtue of which it's unable to change on its own its state of rest or state of motion or direction of motion. And accordingly, we're having three types of inertia. Inertia of rest. The inability of a body to change its state of rest is known as inertia of rest. For example, this body is at rest. I will apply force on the cord and you will see this body will remain at rest. If you have a look here, on applying force on the cord, this body remains at rest. So this inability of a body to change or to oppose the change in its state of rest is known as inertia of rest. One more type is there, inertia of motion. The inability of a body to change its state of motion is known as inertia of motion. For example, when a bus stops suddenly, the passengers lying inside the bus are thrown forward. When bus stops, the lower part of body being in contact with the floor of bus stops instantly. However, the upper part of body which initially was in motion tries to maintain or retain or continue the same state, means state of motion. As a result, is thrown forward. It's because of inertia of motion. And one more type is there, inertia of direction. The inability of a body to change its direction of motion is known as inertia of direction. For example, a person sitting in a vehicle or a car, and suppose the car takes a turn, right or left. If a car takes a right turn, then the person sitting inside the car experiences force towards left. If a car takes left turn, then the person like inside car experiences force towards right. It's because when the vehicle takes a turn, the person inside tries to maintain or continue the same direction it was having initially. So this inability of a body to change its direction of motion is known as inertia of direction. Now inertia depend किस पे करता है? एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल है. If I am taking a heavier body, means a massive body and a lighter body, obviously large force will be required to change the state of heavier body. Now assuming the two bodies are at rest, the large force will be required to change state of heavier body, and small force will be required to change state of small body. It means heavier body resists more to its change in state. Thus we can say greater the mass, greater is the inertia of body. So in general we can say mass is the measure of inertia. As explained earlier, heavier body or massive body requires large force. Means greater mass, greater inertia. A body having greater inertia requires greater force to change its state. It simply means inertia itself is the measure of force. तो अभी तक हमने दो खास बातें समझी है. एक ये कि कोई भी बॉडी अपनी स्टेट या अपनी डायरेक्शन ऑफ मोशन खुद चेंज नहीं कर सकती है. दूसरी ये कि अगर किसी बॉडी की स्टेट या डायरेक्शन ऑफ मोशन को चेंज करना है तो एक फोर्स की जरूरत है. यही अब न्यूटन साहब अपनी फर्स्ट लॉ में बताता है. अकॉर्डिंग टू न्यूटन्स फर्स्ट लॉ ऑफ मोशन, a body continues to be in its state of rest or of uniform motion in a straight line unless compelled by some external force to act otherwise. जो पहला पार्ट है कि कोई भी बॉडी जो रेस्ट पे है या यूनिफॉर्म मोशन में है वो अपनी स्टेट चेंज नहीं करेगी. दिस पार्ट डिफाइंस inertia. So we can say Newton's first law of motion is often known as law of inertia. However, the second part, unless compelled by some external force to act otherwise, ये बॉडी तब तक अपनी स्टेट चेंज नहीं कर सकती या करेगी जब तक न इस पे या इसको कंपेल करेगा, इसको मजबूर करेगा कोई एक्सटर्नल फोर्स. सो दूसरे पार्ट में यहां पे फोर्स डिफाइन हो रहा है. सो वी कैन से न्यूटन्स फर्स्ट लॉ डिफाइन्स फोर्स. नाउ फॉर एग्जांपल, if no force acts on body, F equal to 0, then for body at rest, velocity is 0. Obviously, its acceleration will be equal to 0. And for a body in uniform motion means the motion in which the body is having constant velocity. Implies here the velocity is constant. Then the acceleration, which being the first derivative of velocity, is again here 0. So we can restate Newton's first law as कि कोई भी बॉडी तब तक एक्सेलरेट नहीं हो सकती जब तक न उस पर कोई फोर्स अप्लाई हो. दैट इज, a body cannot accelerate unless compelled by some external force to do so.